new stack, and today we're going to be talking with a few folks from Exoscale, one of the largest European cloud providers, and we're going to be talking about the emerging use of the container stack. Today we have joining us Pierre-Yves Ritschard. I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. He is the Chief Technology Officer of Exoscale. Hello.
Hi, glad to be here.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us. And we also have on deck Nico Fankel. He's a developer evangelist from Exoscale as well. Hello.
Hi.
Excellent. So there's so much stuff we want to learn about what's going on over in Europe in terms of container adoption. So let's just dive right into it. We do want to focus on the container stack and how it's being used. And so you guys were just talking to me prior to the live stream about the DACH market, I guess the German market. And what does it look like in terms of what is the interest out there in the use of containers and container adoption?
Well, as you might expect, Europe is a bit late on the adoption curve for newer technology. There has been interest from different ends of the spectrum, really. The earliest adopters we saw for container technology were mostly very small companies that were just starting up, and for whom containers and specifically Docker provided a different mechanism for building artifacts, which made it simpler to try out what they were doing locally on remote hosts. And really here it's the simplicity of building artifacts that behave the same across different machines that will be the key selling point for these smaller companies, but with actual deployment, they didn't rely on orchestration or on complex mechanisms, but rather run plain Docker containers in production. At the other, yeah.
I was about to say, would you say this is a developer-led interest or more at the top-down level?
Yeah, completely developer-led and really prevalent in companies where, in smaller companies with very little operational knowledge, focusing on developing a new product. And at the other end of the spectrum, so Switzerland, Austria, and Germany. So Switzerland and Austria mostly have a large number of very institutional organizations, banks, insurances, a lot of utility businesses as well. And these larger companies also attacked the container space more around the promise of having a clear separation between developers and operational teams. In the sense that developers would produce artifacts that then would run on some sort of orchestration software. So here, early on as well, we saw interest for containers. But I would say the bulk of companies that sit in the middle, established companies or medium companies, tended to stay away from containers up until very recently, where we're starting to see a real shift, which is prompting us to move in a different direction as a company as well.
Oh, nice. Fantastic. So I'm kind of curious. So when I come to Exoscale, what sort of container solutions would you offer?
Well, right now, we answer to the strongest demand we have, which is for companies to have a managed solution for container orchestration. That's the strongest thing people ask for, and for this we up until recently we had an audience that was really in that space at least that really responded to the need for support and having a vendor-backed solution. And so for this, we provide managed OpenShift clusters.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Up until very recently, that's been the strongest demand. But as I was saying, we see the market evolve, and we now have a lot of more medium companies starting to take on the challenge of moving towards container orchestration. And here the need is different. Here the need we see from customers is more of a completely integral solution that's part of the Exoscale API. And so we're working really hard, and that's also why we're putting on this conference this January to showcase how we're going to move forward and provide fully API programmable clusters for customers. One of the first steps we've done is to integrate spinning up containers in orchestrators from the CLI. But as we move forward, we'll gradually make that part of the whole experience.
Nice. There's a lot to dig in there, but let's first of all let's talk a bit about this conference. Tell me the details of the conference. Where is it being held? And what are the tracks? What's going on there?
So it will take place January 31st in Zurich at the FIFA Museum, which is a really nice location at the center of where most of our customers are, but also right where a lot of container things are happening right now. Mm-hmm. We opted for a single track conference because we think that's how the audience gets the best possible experience. Having seen all the same talks tends to lead to a better hallway track as well, since people share the same experience. There's a lot more to discuss. And we're trying to focus on several things at the conference. First, have the focus on these larger institutional customers who have a lot of questions about governance, about all the organizational aspects of moving towards container orchestration, but also to have a focus on what we on the networking part of towards container orchestration, which is something that people tend to struggle with.
The networking. I'm very curious. Okay. But first, let me talk to you about this API. So, I'm in one of these groups that you had described before. How would I might have a local, maybe using Docker or run C locally or containerd locally. How do I interact with the API? How do I kind of shift my workflow over?
Well, first and foremost, for smaller workloads, Exoscale was actually the first provider ever to be integrated in Docker machine, which is and here, so it's quite simple to build your workloads locally and then through Docker machine to spin up a host at Exoscale, which is ready to accept container workloads. And then maybe to be integrated in a Swarm cluster. Again, as I was saying, I think this really caters to the needs of smaller emerging players, people who just start up, and gradually since after having betted on Mesosphere for a while, really see Kubernetes as the leader in that space now. We're moving towards providing Kubernetes-backed orchestration for containers.
Oh, nice. So you definitely see Kubernetes / OpenShift as the way forward for many of the customers then. Enterprise.
I think OpenShift provides an answer for the enterprise sector, mostly because it's vendor-backed, provides support, fits in with the Red Hat support contracts. Most of these institutions already have. But for medium-sized companies, I don't think it's the answer people are looking for, but rather pure Kubernetes clusters with a little bit more in terms of tweaking abilities, such as describing the types of add-ons that you want to be able to run in the cluster. I think, and especially the ability to spin up and tear down clusters as fast as possible to provide infrastructure for tests and labs.
Terrific.
And that's part of where we don't have an answer today, but that we're working to have in 2019.
Nice. Nico, I had a question for you. You're looking at this from the developer's perspective. How does a developer get involved in container operations from Exoscale?
I cannot answer about Exoscale specifically, but about developers in general.
Sure.
I think there is a big trend now. I mean, developers cannot ignore the Docker Kubernetes world. So I think on one side they are very afraid to make the trend because the trend is going very fast. On the other side, there is also the whole DevOps movement that tries to break the barrier between developers and operations. And I think for them it's also an opportunity. So there is a huge push coming outside and also from the developers themselves to go toward that. I still don't know how it will be like managed inside the organization, because most traditional organizations are very, let's say, siloed. But I think it might be a push toward really a more DevOps approach and not dev on one side and also the other.
So the DevOps approach, you'll be, I guess the developer is also in charge of the operations side of things. And so they'll have to kind of get a feel for that?
My opinion on the DevOps movement is more about there is less silo. You know, before there was this like gigantic wall between the dev and the ops. And basically the dev, their incentive is to deliver as fast as possible. And for the ops is to have something stable, and those two goals are like opposite.
They really are.
And basically, there was this friction against those two departments, especially since there were two different departments with different people at their head. And I believe that, a lot of organizations are realizing this is not the way to go. Now, before someone realizes it and it has effect inside the organization, it can take some time, especially, regarding, I don't know, about legacy organization or like companies that operate in decades. They have been used to work in a certain way. And it's really a huge change. And driving this change inside an organization, I mean, it must be managed. So I think that now that the top knows about it and understand the problems, and the bottom is pushing toward it, then the middle might align at some point. At least that's my hope.
I think that's it's definitely a challenge of how to because, like you said, I mean, organizations and especially some of your main customers, their business is to be predictable. Their business is to manage disruptions, but the developer's job is to bring about improvements, and that can involve disruption as well.
But in normal organizations, including ours, that's one of the things containers brought to Exoscale itself. We see a change in the operations team becoming a service provider internally for developers. Because even though you do rely on container orchestration, that's not the end of the story. You still have a few decisions to make around which database systems you're going to use, how your build toolchain is going to look like. And the operations team is to become a service provider for that base layer and that curated layer of technologies that you're going to rely on. And then, but then building, shipping and running the actual workloads on top of that base layer becomes the responsibility of the dev team, basically, including things that typically were reserved for operations, such as on-call and things like this.
Nice. We're seeing that too. Of a lot of the larger organizations, is their IT departments are in fact turning into, I guess you would say, like standalone companies that their customers are the developers that are elsewhere in the enterprise. So, Pierre, you had mentioned the challenges with networking. And I know with containers, you have to do a certain amount of translation from inside the container to outside of the container. Maybe you could talk. What are the challenges, and what are the ways are you guys looking at kind of making that easier for your customers?
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the. I mean, before container orchestration came around, the networking became a bit boring, especially in the provider space, such as Exoscale. You used to have to spin up a machine, to have public IP, and then security groups, which gave you mechanisms to work with what could and could not be. What type of traffic could and could not go to and from a machine. And that was it really. And application-wise, faster machines and lower latencies and larger throughput meant that you could TLS to secure most of the traffic was fine as it was. But now with containers, indeed, you have to reach, the machine isn't the smallest unit of infrastructure that you have, but containers are, and you need to route traffic to them. And unfortunately, the container ecosystem isn't really ready for IPv6. So you have to resort to routing mechanisms, and the earlier ways to do that relied on solutions that were a bit resource consuming, overlay networks, which encapsulate network traffic, tend to consume a lot of resources on hosts, and limits the throughput that you can get from container to container, and the latency that you'll have reaching your workloads. Now, more recently, and we're working a lot on that, BGP-based solutions tend to provide a lot more. So I think the reachability, so the pure traffic part of networking is getting more and more stable, and we actually rely on a large BGP fabric. I think from a number of customers we saw and our own internal needs, bridging that container networking world with what you had previously, which still needs to interact with your container fabric, is also a challenge. And here, BGP-based solutions tend to provide a solution that's interesting. Now, where a number of challenges still remain is in policing traffic, since a number of the network policy implementations tend to also be a bit naive and result in a vast number of Linux applicable rules, for instance, which tend to break down again throughput and latency that you can get to containers. So that's been a key focus for us, trying to curate the best possible way to build and operate containers from a network perspective as well, because that's oftentimes been a pain point for people running actual workloads in production.
Excellent. Now, are you advising a hybrid cloud approach, or should companies dipping their toes in the water, should they try to set up something purely on Exoscale and worry about perhaps cross-cloud communication later, or what's your general philosophy on that?
Well, if you ask us, we'd rather have people run everything in Exoscale, but unfortunately, as again we deal with larger institutions, people tend to have yeah. And some, I mean, if you look at the typical case of a large company, they tend to already have internal infrastructure. They tend to already have an Oracle deployment, maybe an SAP, a large ERP system that tends to run internally. But they still want, a good fabric for running large stateless workloads, which need to be elastic, such as the front end for a web shop, which will need to tap into their ERP at some point. And here, hybrid approach is really something that works for these customers, but I still think that the long run is for things to run, mostly on infrastructure as a service fabrics, such as Exoscale. If you look really a bit later in the future, again, Europe and specifically the DACH region might be a bit late on the adoption curve, but that's where we see most people heading. But even then, there will be yet another transition, which is having all workloads running on container orchestration, which definitely is today and won't be for the foreseeable future for most companies. So here you still need to bridge these two worlds of the pure VM-based workloads and have that interact correctly with container-based workloads, which again brings up a number of network challenges, which are very similar to the ones that you have when dealing with hybrid cloud problems.
Excellent. How would you manage with containers on OpenShift? How would you manage identity access management and identity management? Are you assuming the RBAC policies that have already been set up through Red Hat, or is there other options in that regard, or what's the general thinking there?
I mean, here, and that's why I was saying, this consumers of OpenShift tend to have a full buy-in to Red Hat, which is why here we tend to leave people on that road, and they tend to completely consume what Red Hat provides in terms of.
Right. So they take the guidance from Red Hat. Yeah.
But as far as a pure Exoscale solution is concerned, here it's more what we want to provide, and what we will provide is complete API integration with our identity management, our existing identity management at Exoscale. So here it's more
nice.
a standard policy. And additional add-ons in for the clusters to bridge the pure infrastructure as a service world with the container orchestration world.
Nice. Now, are you, in terms of Kubernetes, are you open to supporting additional distributions like SUSE, or perhaps even a stock generic, or what's your thinking along those lines?
No, what we will provide again will be raw Kubernetes. Without without OpenShift or without SUSE or Pivotal around it, but purely a cluster spinning up with a few curated add-ons. To provide the network fabric, to provide the policy fabric as well, and the ecosystem volume fabric.
Nice. I want to jump back to Nico for a second. In terms of what you have seen in terms of adoption of containers, could you kind of talk about what sort of workloads companies or individuals are using them for, or what's the low-hanging fruit, as we like to say here in the U.S. in terms of early adoption?
Sorry, I was muted. The most important kind of workload I've seen is basically stateless. That's the common thing that I've seen. So basically...
Sorry, what's that again?
Yeah, I was saying that the most important workload that I've seen, the common stuff, is completely stateless.
And why does that... I'm sorry?
That's the most common property I've seen so far.
And that's because I guess it lends itself naturally to containerization.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, but it's a natural evolution. Before everything was stateful and we had a lot of issues to update. The database is also an issue in that case. So basically, it's the easiest part and it's the first part.
Nice. Now, Pierre, are you advising users to go ahead and move stateful workloads to the cloud? Is that something that you can support through operators now, or should they still be thinking stateless at this point in time?
So to the cloud, definitely, and we have a lot of customers running large production workloads. To container orchestration, I think it's a mix and match. You have operators that tend to do the work. You have companies that bet a lot around container orchestration. Confluent is one, for instance. Kafka did a lot of work to have operators that provide support for Kafka, and we know of customers successfully running Apache Kafka on top of Kubernetes. That being said, if we take ourselves, that's clearly for us, it's clearly the last candidate, because these large stateful systems, we rely, for instance, extensively on Apache Kafka, which still runs on VMs. We haven't moved that over to Kubernetes. We rely extensively on Apache Cassandra and also MySQL for other workloads. There exist operators for these, but they tend to be mostly proof of concept state at the moment. And here, we definitely wouldn't want to run production workloads on top of that. So I think, it really depends on what operators are available, and also how much traffic and how much load you actually push to these. For instance, the MySQL operators tend to be great to spin up databases that will be used for continuous integration.
Right.
But I wouldn't rely on them for the actual production databases at the moment. I think it's the path, but really, when you have workloads that databases don't tend to be workloads that vary in consumption need over time, right? You rarely have the need to downscale your database at night. But you have elastic workloads. The stateless workloads tend to be more elastic. Your webshot might be very heavily targeted during the day, but you might want to run your batch jobs to process analytics at night. And here, the composition of running these workloads on Kubernetes gives you great tooling and great capacity to do that. We don't. Let's say that for now we wouldn't run too many critical stateful workloads on top of Kubernetes, because we feel the ecosystem is a bit immature at the moment.
Right. So test them out, but don't put them in production. Yeah. I was also very surprised to understand that Kafka is one of the chief workloads for cloud containerization. It makes perfect sense, but it's interesting to see it taking off over there in Europe.
Well, it definitely is. again, since it fits very well for data processing. I think even though stream processing tends to be a bit conceptually harder to understand, people always want analytics faster. Most people who want numbers want them in real time and not at 1 week or 1 day ago. There's been a lot done in terms of making the programming experience more and more simple. Things like Kafka streams tend to make, and we really see in plenty of companies running on top of Exoscale, sometimes outside, but a lot of customers we go out to when we meet day to day tend to have that as their universal data bus throughout the company. More and more, and that's actually the case at Exoscale as well. That's how we process events, how we process billing.
Really? Wow! You mean through Kafka? Wow! Huh?
Yeah.
Huh.
And having the Kafka consumers run on top of Kubernetes makes it very easy for people to quickly write a new consumer and tap into that database.
Nice. And now people bringing their own Kafka distributions, or is this something that you guys can help with in-house?
No, for now that's not something we help with. That's definitely on the lookout for us, but not a 2019 topic. So people tend to bring their own distribution. We do have a large partner ecosystem, which is ready to step in and to operate clusters for customers, but that's not something that we provide ourselves.
Oh, nice.
Because Exoscale as a company does not intend to provide managed services in the sense that operating customer virtual machines for them. That's not we're a product company, so that's not what we do. But we do have a partner program and a large partner ecosystem where people are ready to step in and do that for customers.
Okay, so you mean like system integrators or solution providers?
Yeah, but again, not done from Exoscale itself, but from a partner ecosystem.
Yeah, you're okay. All right, nice. Now, so I guess a question for both of you. We've been covering quite a bit on continuous integration and delivery, and it seems to us anyway that that if you're starting to move to containers, that's a natural sort of stepping stone, or that it's a necessity, or perhaps even a precursor to moving to a CI/CD automated workflow or streamlined workflow. Anyway, is that something that you guys are encouraging with your customer base or with your users, thinking about CI/CD in terms of a development pipeline?
Yeah, as you said, it's not a stepping stone, it's a requirement.
It's a requirement now, yeah.
Yeah, you cannot go into this world without a fully automated CI/CD. I mean, the first step, of course, is continuous integration. I mean, you need to automatically build your product, test your product. Now you can go a bit further and also deliver or deploy automatically. That's much harder to do. You need a higher level of maturity. But I cannot fathom an organization today that has developers and that wants to do like professional software without having continuous integration. And it has been the case for quite some time. Honestly, I don't know any organization that doesn't have one, but definitely if you don't have one, that should be the first step, because you cannot do anything else if you don't have that first step.
Nice. All right, terrific. I'm trying to think if there's any other questions I had at the moment. Are there any other aspects you think might be worth mentioning for companies or developers who are interested in containers and are looking at Exoscale as a way to take a dive in?
Nothing specific except just to try the service. We're constantly rolling out new functionality. in our command line interface in the web portal, but also in the API. We're also, and that's largely in part thanks to Nicolas, publishing a lot of recipes for things like we were mentioning CI/CD.
Okay.
We've talked in the past about how we run, how we operate Jenkins, for instance, which is our basis for doing that at Exoscale, to accommodate, to best work on Exoscale. So there's also content that we make available to customers who want to replicate that type of effort. But I would just try the service, basically.
So you're saying your documentation game is strong then, huh?
That is at least something that is a key focus. I think in the past that might have been something that could have been better. But that's a key and strong focus, and I think one of the top priorities of the content team here is to make that better and better and ensure that we have not only a pure and cold API documentation, but also that we showcase how to best use that.
Nice. And we'll include in the show notes, and we'll also put it up on the Twitter feed, more information about the conference that is happening later on this month. And it sounds like you'll have a lot of good user talks and instruction and a lot of good hallway chats as well. So customers and potential customers can get to know Exoscale a bit more.
And really encourage anyone in Europe, not only in the German-speaking region, to join, because obviously all the content will be in English, and to join us at the conference.
Nice. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for getting us up to speed, and we're going to be following you guys a lot more closely as we all go down the road of containerization together.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Jordan, for your time today.
All right, take care.
Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye.
All right.